I have a full monitoring system here where we can look at all aspects of the AC and DC, see what the sources are producing for power at any given moment. There's also a history of power that's produced on a given day, month, or year. And we can look and see the state of the batteries, what percent charge they're at, are they charging or discharging at the moment. We have a master inverter that's working 99% of the time, and as more and more current is being used to power appliances and utilities, additional inverters will kick in as needed. So what we have here is 24 2-volt cells producing a 48-volt DC system here. Each cell or each battery here, as I said, was 2 volts, stores 450 amp hours of electricity. Fairly large system, although could easily be larger. Primarily it would be larger if there was just a PV system here where you have many days potentially of no sunshine and you need to store lots of power. Since this system has a micro hydro system producing power 24/7, small amounts of power 24/7, we can get by with a smaller battery bank because we're constantly adding power to these batteries. Primarily everything revolves around the heat storage unit. In this case we have heat transfer products, 80-gallon storage tank with a lot of other components that have been added to it. And we also have a smaller tank here to store solar thermal heat. But primarily it's one source of water that's being heated up and used to store any energy that we've produced from our heat sources. We are only heating essentially one block of water, about 120 gallons of water in total here. And that heat storage is being used to produce both domestic hot water needs and also our heat storage, our heat distribution needs. The source of water for this heat pump, or the source of heat in geothermal, is actually our well that produces our domestic water. We draw water out of the well just like we would when we're running the shower or whatever, run it through a heat coil inside the unit, and put the water right back into the well. And we're taking about 5 degrees out of that water, which is at about 45 degrees year-round as it enters the geothermal unit. We take 5 degrees out and put it right back into the well. We have solar panels on the roof, 2 Apricus evacuated tube panels tilted to an angle of about 45 degrees to maximize the thermal heat gain in both summer and winter. The hot water produced in the panels on the roof are transferred to this tank using a circulator pump and controller. When the temperature of the water on top of the roof is higher than the tank temperature, the pump automatically turns on and transfers that heat into the storage tank. We have the potential here to add a wood boiler, which we would place right in this area attached up to a chimney. We also have an extra heat exchanger inside the storage tank, so all it takes is some plumbing from the wood boiler to those heat exchangers, and we have an additional source of heat in the primarily for winter time, the main part of winter, January, February, March, would probably be the only times you would actually need a wood boiler, so it could be a very small, efficient wood boiler, and primarily only need to be used in January, February, March. We have about 5.5 kilowatts of solar PV on poles sitting out in the backyard, and a micro hydro system that generates about a kilowatt of continuous power 24/7, as long as the water is flowing in a small stream just outside the house here. Those two electrical production systems generate DC power that is charging up some batteries that we have here through a series of charge controllers. That DC power that's stored in the batteries here is then converted to AC power through a series of inverters. And what we have hanging on the wall here is all the wiring to power the DC batteries and the inverters.